President Muhammadu Buhari and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo are expected to receive COVID-19 vaccine doses this forthcoming weekend. Nigeria on Tuesday took delivery of 3.9 million doses of AstraZeneca vaccine, first batch of the 16 million expected through World Health Organization. The government is expecting 129 million vaccine doses to vaccinate 70% of its population within 2 years. The consignment was received through Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport in Abuja aboard Emirates Airline. The vaccine will be administered in 2 doses. Former President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, said Nigeria's problem shouldn't be left to the governing or progressive Congress-led federal government. Saraki, who doubles as the chairman, People Democratic Party National Reconciliation and Strategy Committee, stressed the need for a bipartisan approach to finding lasting solution to national problems, especially in the area of security. He spoke shortly after a 2-hour closed-door meeting with ex-President Olusegun Obasanjo at Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library in Abeokuta, Ogun State. The former Senate President said, "I think that we will talk about kidnapping when we talk about sense of belonging. These are the issues that goes across the party lines, and what required is now for the government to provide leadership in bringing all stakeholders together." On the purpose of his visit to Obasanjo, Saraki said it is very useful deliberation. We informed the former president while we were here the purpose of the committee and that it is important as an elder statesman. The president is someone who has been in a party before and someone committed to the unity, to the success of this country. Began in 2020, where the beneficiary numbering 95 were given support to be economically independent. The Nigerian Senate has confirmed the appointment of the service chief with the charge to go after insurgents and bandits as to restore law and order in every part of the country. The confirmation of the nominee followed the consideration of the report by Senate Committee on Defense during the plenary. The nominees were appointed by President Buhari to take over the reign of leadership in the military from the former Chief of Defense Staff, General Abayomi Olonisakin, Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibok Ekwe Iba, and Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar. The chairman of the Senate Committee on Defense, Aliu Wamako, in his presentation of the report, said the Joint Committee on Defense, Army, Navy, and Air Force screened the 4 nominees and was satisfied with their qualification, exposure, conduct, character, and experience, and general performances.
That the committee did not receive any petition on the nominees. 3, that the nominees have been cleared by the Department of State Security Service. 4, that the nominees have presented their code of conduct acknowledgement slip. 5, the nominees possess the required academic qualifications as well as wide-range experiences to be the Chief of Defense Staff and Service Chiefs of the Armed Forces of Nigeria. 6, that they have experiences as seasoned public servants where they rose to the ranks of Major General, Rear Admiral, Air Vice Marshal, that qualifies them for the positions of Chief of Defense Staff and Service Chief, respectively. That the nominees were very articulate and meticulous in their response to questions by the committee. We recommend, therefore, as such, that the Joint Committee on Screening has carefully and thoroughly screened the 4 nominees and was satisfied with their qualifications, exposure, conduct, characters, experience, and general performance. The nominees have displayed wide and in-depth knowledge on strategic tactics and military operations. This Joint Committee of Screening of nominated Chief of Defense Staff and service chiefs have been engaged extensively with the nominees in undertaking a detailed and comprehensive screening exercise.
Contributing, Deputy Senate President Ovioma Gege described the nominee as capable in tackling head-on the challenges presented by the spite of insecurity across the country.
Mr. President, we are in very perilous times with the insurgency in the northeast, the banditry in the northwest, and north central most especially. Mr. President, the President and Commander-in-Chief took his time to seek out the very best in the armed services. Mr. President, the intellect, the achievements, and the exploits of these nominees are very well documented in this report. Mr. President, speaking for myself, because of a personal relationship I share with some of these nominees, Mr. President, I have no doubt that Mr. President has selected the very best team to pilot the affairs of the military establishment for the next how many years, as the case might be. So, Mr. President, I very wholeheartedly support this nomination and appeal to my colleagues to so confirm.
In his remark, President of the Senate, Hamad Lawal, described the ongoing insurgence in the northeast and banditry across the country as thriving industry that must be stopped. He maintained that some persons were benefiting from the criminal acts, frustrating move to end it. Lawal further called for interagency cooperation among the security apparatus so as to completely win the fight against insurgency, kidnapping, and banditry.
We expect them, our armed forces, to take the fight to the insurgents, to take the fight to the bandits. In a situation where bandits will come to a school, take over 300 students on motorcycles and disappear into the thin air without any trace, it's not acceptable. Something has to give, because apparently this is becoming an industry. Some people are benefiting from this, and we have to unravel who these people are and fight bandits and insurgents until we rescue our country. Let me also advise the service chiefs that there must be interagency cooperation. There must be interagency cooperation. The Army, the Air Force must coordinate their activities because they are supposed to have complementary roles.
The Nigerian Senate has considered a bill seeking to revive an international hospital that will specifically focus on treatment of leprosy, skin cancer, and other skin-related diseases. The National Dermatology Specialist Hospital Bill 2021, which came through second reading during the plenary, was sponsored by Senator Aishatu Dahiru Ahmed, APC Adamawa Central. Leading the debate on the bill, the lawmaker recalled that as far back as 2029, an international hospital was established for Gadika Agricultural Leper Colony by the Church of the Brethren Mission, USA. She added that the National Dermatology Hospital in Gadika will ensure skin cancer experts and other areas of skin condition will be produced from the academic section of the National Dermatology Hospital.
National Tertiary Dermatology Hospital in Garkida, Adamawa State has been conspicuously left out in the federal government's drive to provide tertiary healthcare services to Nigerians. A dermatology hospital to provide diagnostic, curative, promotive, and rehabilitative dermatology, cosmetic dermatology, allergy, all skin and hair treatment is seriously and urgently needed to fill the gap and the Dermatology Hospital, Garkida, Adamawa State, naturally fits all the requirements for a national dermatology hospital. There are many reasons for a national dermatology hospital in Garkida. One, the hospital will allow specialty care providers focus on particular areas of care in which they have extensive training and education. Two, the tears and frustration expressed by patients with pigmentary disorders and the psychological impact of those disorders will be effectively handled by the hospital. Three, skin cancer experts and other areas of skin condition will be produced from the academic section of the National Dermatology Hospital. Four, it is a well-known destination for patients all over the country for nearly a century. Five, limited infrastructural and academic template for an international dermatological hospital already exists. Six, the hospital will provide sustained leadership in patients' care, in research, and in training leaders of dermatological specialty in an environment that fosters creativity, diversity, inclusiveness, and synergy, leading to a regional and national recognition for their clinical expertise and teaching.
Contributing to the debate, Chief Whip Senator Oji Uzo Kalu, who supported the bill, expressed concern that the zone has been chemicalized and a lot of skin disease are coming out of that zone as a result of the bullets used by Boko Haram.
In supporting the bill by Senator Binani, I want the Senate to consider that that zone has been chemicalized and a lot of skin diseases are coming out of that zone now because of the amount of bullets and amount of weapons being used to fight Boko Haram. So I don't want any of our colleagues to waste time in supporting this motion because it's a very, very good thing because a lot of leprosy on that area and skin diseases on that area of our country. So I urge all my colleagues to kindly support this motion and support this bill, which will be to benefit of people of Northeast, not only in Northeast, but other Nigerians who used to go to India and all the places to treat their skin diseases. Thank you, Mr. President.
Other senators who spoke in favor of the establishment of National Dermatological Hospital are Deputy Leader Ajayi Boroface and Senator Ibikule Amosu.
On the establishment of this specialist hospital, you will feel sorry for us because this is the bane of our nation. We lack what we call maintenance culture. How on earth can we allow an hospital that is almost a century old? In 8 years' time, this hospital will be 100 years old. And somehow, under our nose, we allow the hospital to degenerate. So much so that if you go there, because I actually engaged the Senator Dairo, and she did mention the parlous condition of the place. So, Mr. President, I think this, if we get our act right, things like this should be avoided.
For the benefit of Nigerians. And I think there are others. Mr. President, we are moving around a cloud of microorganisms, viruses, bacteria, and droplets of chemicals that are very, very dangerous to the body. They find their way into our body system. In addition to this, Mr. President, because of our climatic situation, we're exposed to ultraviolet radiation, which can also damage our body. And also, there are a lot of anthropogenic activities that we engage in that also stands a good chance of damaging our body or our system. Last week, we discussed the issue of cosmetics, that application of cosmetics can do a lot of harm to the body.
The bill, after scaling through the second reading, was referred by President of the Senate, Hamad Lawal, to the Committee on Health for further legislative action.
A bill for an act to establish the specialized National Dermatology
Hospital at Garkida for the prevention, diagnostic, curative, promotive, rehabilitative, cosmetic, allergy of all conditions and disease affecting the skin, and for other matters connected there with 2021 second reading, and the bill is referred to the Committee on Health to report back within 4 weeks.
The committee, which is chaired by Senator Yaya Olurebe, APC Central, is expected to report back within the 4 weeks. As part of the drive to create atmosphere of equality among all productive youth in Ekiti State, Senator representing Ekiti Central District in the Nice Senate, Senator Michael Opeyemi Bamdele, has empowered 120 physically challenged persons in the state. The senator presented cash gifts, wheelchairs to all the participants while also exposing them to training in vocational and entrepreneurial skills that will make them relevant under present harsh economic situation. Bamdele, who made the donation in Ado-Ekiti, the state capital, through his senior legislative assistant, Honorable Bomi Oguntuashi, said the gesture was targeted at alleviating poverty among the physically challenged in Ekiti. The lawmaker revealed that the first phase of the Soul Lifting Empowerment Program began in 2020, where the beneficiary numbering 95 were given support to be economically independent.
Today we have gathered to witness the symposium we are having here today and also participate in the exercise.
A new initiative known as Tagwai Foundation has been unveiled in Abuja, the Nigerian capital city. Tagwai Foundation is aimed at empowering orphan, widow, and less privileged with a special target as supporting education. The brain behind the new initiative, Opina Simon, said the foundation is born out of zeal to help the less privileged.
Tagwai Foundation is born out of the zeal and passion to help the less privileged and, of course, to promote our country and make it a very, wonderful place to stay. As the motto of our foundation is connecting bridges and restoring hopes. Okay, so this is what we do. This is what we stand for. Whatever that will help in the common man in this country, that is what we stand for. And mostly, specifically, we are education. Okay. Skills acquisition, empowerment of widows and orphans, all right, mentorship and...
One of the speakers at the event, Jeremiah Hussein, said the foundation will place priority in tackling illiteracy.
The normal idea, the term itself, illiteracy, has been, popularly misunderstood as the inability to read and write. I dare to say that it is way bigger than that. The cost of it is way, 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 way higher than that. Illiteracy includes the lack of functional, cultural, informational, healthcare, financial, emotional, and transformational knowledge. Illiteracy is broad. Illiteracy, permit me to say, it's broader than the dangers of it is even way, way worse than what we think literacy is.
A young girl, Alima, who made the presentation at the public presentation of the foundation, called on all the tiers of government to support education.
For the parents, please, education is not a luxury. It is a necessity. If you give your children education, they will become the likes of MC Tagwaye, Acting Minister Dr. Ramatu Tijani, Governor Yahaya Bello, Dr. Leila Ali Usman, Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami, a businesswoman who is educated will be called an entrepreneur. Why a businesswoman who is not educated, they will call her a market woman. Now, I appeal to all arms of the government, the federal government, the state government, and the local government, to make education, the generation, and the next generation a priority.
Madeline Winker, one of the panelists at the occasion, also called for youth empowerment.
So it's amazing. It's a new foundation that is growing up and is here for the less privileged ones, right? We don't talk enough. We just left them and close their eyes. That is what I always say. And we have to be very careful, you know, especially in Nigeria. We have a lot, the youth is desperate. Yeah, that is what I feel. And if we don't do something quickly, it will be a big mess in this country. I work a lot in war-stricken countries, and these are generation lost, right? And it doesn't take a lot. And I think if we empower the youth, this country can still stand up.